right, let's see here if it's going good. Think so. Howdy, howdy. So let's see here. We've got a couple people in here. It's like, and that is going to need a second. There we go. That's better. No echo, right? Everything sounding good? I think so. What's up, Terzel? Good morning, buddy. Alrighty. I know I'm running a few minutes early. Just you know how technical difficulties go. Good to see you, man. Long time. Well, it looks like it's me, you, maybe one other person in here so far. Well, let's see. Trying to decide which one I like better, the studio or the actual video. I think I'm going to leave it there so that way things are more time with you guys possibly. Anyways, what you been brewing lately? Hopefully, I saw that muscadine wine you had going. Looked pretty good. Gonna go ahead and get a cigar going while I kind of wait for other people and then get going here in just a moment. Brew anything else lately other than the muscadine? What's that? Never heard of it. Is it a wine? I the mead, the first mead that I made, it dropped pretty clean and clear. I've racked it into secondary. Still nothing's dropped out of that, so I'm fixing to put in some of that like yeast killer and stuff like that and go with it as a traditional mead. This first cider I made, man, it hadn't cleared up, but I used some organic cider juice to get that going. And that ain't cleared up, so I'm gonna get a second cider going. Kind of been watching some of your stuff, trying to hopefully take some of the hints there that you leave laying about. Oh crap. Oh, okay. Sounds interesting. Not a big wine person. I've had a few, but not really into them. I'm sure it's one of those things you kind of develop a taste the more that you try, you know. So, what you got brewing up next? Other than that, you doing any beer lately? Alrighty, well, it's right about 10 o'clock. Might as well go ahead and get pouring some of the water. To the couple of you guys that are here, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Matt. I am Jackers Brewing Co. If you're not, you know who I am. You probably know more or less about what I'm about. So we're gonna get this this going today. We're gonna brew a pre-Prohibition Lager. This is one that I brewed earlier this year. It was really good. Unfortunately, a leaking O-ring made most of my keg go away before I could really uh, get into that beer, enter it into some competitions, and etc. So, yep, that's me. So we're going to chill this one. I want to ferment it in my temperature controlled apparatus and stuff like that. Kind of keep those low fermentation temperatures going. So it's going to be like a true lager. It's not going to be a pseudo lager. We're going to chill it today and all that. Probably going to hit some challenges being here in Texas. It's looks like it's going to approach over 100 or so today. So I've got plenty of water out here. The groundwater is probably going to be pretty freaking hot. So I'll probably get it down to, I don't know, about 80 or so. And then take it inside and then use my fermenter with the chilling coil to kind of bring it back down into pitching temp. So that's the plan for today. Alrighty, so get pouring some of this water. We'll get going. Brewing bad. Morning, bud. Good to see you. Fixing to pour some water. Get going. Um, real quick. It's good to see you, man. Long time no see. All right, so what did I miss? My Stein looked great. Yeah, that was a wonderful looking beer for sure. Use water. Yeah, so normally I use RO water. Uh the when I brewed this beer originally, I decided to use spring water. Kind of felt like it was like more true to style. It being pre-prohibition, kind of wanted to look for that like kind of historical accuracy, right? So I used the spring water originally. I feel like it turned out really well. So decided to do that. Um, so FYI, I guess maybe possibly if the internet stream cuts out, we got a new puppy and he's already destroyed one Ethernet cable. So I'm hoping he learned his lessons the last time. I guess it could happen again. Just if I mysteriously disappear, freeze out, or whatever. That's probably what happened. Yeah, I wasn't sure. The what was it last night when you posted on Instagram for your muscadine that you had in the fermenter? I wasn't sure if that's what it was. But that is a beautiful color for sure. So since I got you here, Terzel, so I got all those prickly pears. Well, I say all of them. So I have like 50 pounds or had 50 pounds. I think I processed probably right around 15 pounds of them yesterday, the day before, kind of combined. And I ended up with 11 pints of juice after everything was processed and juiced out. So that's pretty exciting. Uh, Looking at maybe trying to do a mead uh, with some of that, and then I think I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a beer. Thinking like a wheat ale or something for that. Not really sure. Kind of been throwing up a couple different ideas of what to do on the. Excuse me. So I did a prickly pear uh the Winterweiss a couple years ago, and I feel like because the prickly pear uh is kind of like a delicate taste. It was lost in the sourness of that beer. Uh, I think though, because essentially put it in a secondary fermentation, I think it fermented out a lot of the taste. So I was thinking about doing a retry of that, but I was also thinking what I'll do this go round is essentially try to do like the freeze uh, reduction or freeze distillation with the juices and try to draw off all the water, right, and kind of make it more into a syrup, then add it into like a secondary fermentation. I've talked to a few people that have brewed a lot with fruits, and so what they do is they wait until there's a little bit of activity for secondary fermentation, and then they just kill the yeast and then package it up. Um, so I might try something like that too. Um, I've got a little bit of time left, and I've got several more pounds of this stuff to move through. Try it in a light lager. Yeah, that was kind of like I was thinking like maybe like a blonde ale or maybe a cream ale or like a American wheat. I think it would do well in that. That's my belief, anyways. That American wheat that I did not terribly long ago. Uh, it's scored pretty decently in a couple competitions. Didn't quite get exactly where I needed it to be, but for the first time ever brewing the style, I was pretty happy. So I'm kind of like, should I take that recipe and throw it in there? Saison is kind of where I went originally with it. It stuck in my head. You know, I've got more than enough of the prickly pears though that I could probably process, you know, another 15-20 pounds and still be okay with that, you know. Maybe try a couple different versions of it. I'm not really sure where, like I said, where I'm going to land on it, but I'm going to do something for sure. Normally I throw it in a like a Hefeweizen is normally what I've been doing. And it always seems to come out pretty decently there. So, anybody drink any good beers lately? Normally, I'll drink stouts and stuff like that year round, but I've been on this local kick around here with some pilsners and lagers lately, some lighter beers. So, kind of testing those out because there's just so damn many of them available, you know. I tried had a Jester King hibiscus saison or farmhouse lately. It was really good. I just tried my stout. I made carbonated but no head retention. Man, that's a tough one. There's just so many things that can kind of contribute to that. Do you have any like adjuncts in there, like any wheats or anything like that? Any Carapils? How are you handling your beer too? Like, are you bottle conditioning it or just brown sugar? What's your grain bill? Got any flaked adjuncts? Bottle conditioned? Yeah, I would probably look at trying to maybe throw in a little bit of Carapils in there and or some. Yeah, you need some adjuncts in there like some wheat or some flaked rye or something like that. Some I don't think oats really do that. I think oats is kind of more of a mouthfeel thing, but I think you can get some head retention out of like some wheat and some flake rye for sure. And you shouldn't really have to add too much like Carapils to it either. Yeah, thickening. Yeah, increase the mouthfeel. Yep. So brewing bad, what you been brewing lately? Anything interesting? In case anybody wants to follow along too, so I'll go over the recipe right now, but also the recipes in the description along with the video for the first go round of this. But this one's 81% 6 row, 14.3% flaked corn, and then 4.8% carapils. Um, we're going to do a cluster addition at 60 minutes, Whirlfloc 15, another cluster addition at 10 minutes, yeast nutrients, and then call it a day after that. Our strike today is going to be 162. Our mash is going to be at 156 for 60 minutes. Have a peach, wheat ale, and a hazy IPA in the fermentation. Maybe that checks Pills house. Cool on all of those. How are you handling the peach in that beer? Are you doing like peach halves or juice or Czech Pills? Did one recently ish. Kind of happy with it. It didn't perform that well as far as the score sheets went. I knew it kind of needed a little bit of work. Puree. Cool. Cool. It could be. It could be any variable, but I think maybe you should throw some Carapils in it next. Maybe a little bit of wheat. See if you get some head retention. So next up on my brewing deal, so I got this going. Um, I was just talking to Terzel a little earlier about some of the meads and ciders that I was doing. I don't know if you heard, but I got another mead going last night. As soon as I wrap up here, I'm gonna get another cider going today uh, to kind of replace that one cider, my first cider. Uh, I don't know how that one's going to turn out. The first one, I think I'll be okay with it, but it's kind of funky looking because I used some organic uh, cider juice that had some pulp in it. Um, it smells wonderful, but we'll see how that turns out. um, so after that, though, I've got two farmhouse saisons that I'm looking at brewing, and still got the pre-prohibition porter that I need to do, and one other one sitting around here. I can't remember what it is. I think it's the Lichtenheiner. So I also was gifted some dehydrated hops from gentleman in the uh, brew club, and so I need to find something to do with those. I need to sit down, probably make a small batch like uh, smash beer with those. I've never used like real so I've never used like leaf tops before, and that's how he gave them to me. Yep, I could do that. That was a thought that also crossed my mind was the prickly pear cider. I don't know. I got more than enough of it laying around here. Probably ought to be adventurous, right? So you guys been drinking any good local beer lately? We uh we went to go see Metallica in Fort Worth, and so while I was up there, I stopped at the local Specs and picked up a couple local brews there, and it's kind of hit or miss. There was a double bock that was extremely good, and then there was a coconut stout that they had uh, that it wasn't good like while it was still cold and all that in the can. Uh, Let it set around, opened up for a little bit. It kind of got better as it warmed up for sure. Kind of had a little bit of that like a rum taste to it, so that was pretty cool. But I definitely preferred that double bock for sure. Made me wanted to brew another bock. So Brewing Bad, didn't you didn't I see, I think you just started entering some competitions, right? Been on an IPA kick this summer. I've enjoyed local West Coast IPA. Cool. Whenever whenever the next time we run through the Tennessee area, I'll try to hit you up and see which places to hit up. Granted, not very up there that frequently. Last time I was driving through there was probably about 5 years ago. So, there's 4 beers in a state fair competition. Cool, good job. I thought that was you that I remembered. Uh, have you got back your results yet? Got one of the last uh, entries coming in for this year, coming in this weekend on our local circuit here, the Lone Star Circuit. So that's a limbo. That's an interesting one. It's all like kind of like low ABV beers. You're supposed to have a starting gravity of like 1050 and below for that competition. So I've got 4 beers in there, I think. Let me see. I got it on my calendar. Let's see here. Yeah, so I got the American Wheat in. I've got the California Common, a Berliner, and then the Rogan beer in. 1 first place and 3 second places. Dude, that is killer. Awesome. Awesome. Are they is it a BJCP function? Like, is it endorsed or whatever by the American Home Brewers Association or whatever? Pick up the ribbons on Sunday. Cool. Can't wait to see your ribbons, man. That's awesome. Good job. So what beers did you put in? Did you get any score sheets back? How have you been doing in the competitions, Terzel? I've only won my first and only medal earlier this year, but other than that, like my score sheets are coming back decently. I hit a 44 on a wood aged saison that I thought for sure was medal worthy, and I mean it's right there in the scores. But man, first place was a bourbon barrel imperial stout. Seconds were Mexican lager, Munich Dunkel. Dude, awesome job. Awesome job. Waiting for fall comps. Have you put any of your meads in, Terzel? Getting really close to temperature here to strike in at. Oh man, I forgot to bring my grains out. I'll be right back. Sadly, no. I didn't expect to win anything. So, dude, yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome, man. Sorry, I'm just really paranoid about overshooting the temp right now. Also, it's hot enough out here without the burner going that I want to turn this thing off as soon as possible. Trying to catch strugglers rear. Well, good luck on that, man. On both the circuits and the new job. Well, what else is going on, guys? Alrighty. As far as everything's looking, it looks like everything's okay right now. On my end, anyways. I'll catch you when you come back. Hopefully, it's just whatever goofiness is going on the internet. Alrighty. So we're right there. Gonna go ahead and turn it off. Time to mash in. All right, let's set a timer. And we're off. I'm always working on something though. Let's see here. Yeah, always working on something though. I'm doing as a base to add wine. Maybe mead, who knows? I'll figure out something. Also, what is that grain bill again? So the grain bill for this one is 81% 6 row. It's 14.3% flaked corn and 4.8% Carapils. So additionally, the grain bill is in the description here, along with the video for the first time that I brewed this. I'm To me, there's no need really to reshoot this one. Um, I just decided that I'm just gonna brew a beer and have you guys along on the brew day kind of deal. No need to make another video about it, unless maybe I'd just do a taste test kind of deal, But I think that beer was pretty good from day one. I just didn't get a whole lot of experience with it, really, sadly, because of that torn O-ring on the keg. Leaked out something like 3.5 gallons worth of beer. I was able to share some with some friends, um, and send some off to some competitions. But unfortunately, those competitions that I sent them off on, I wasn't able to enter them in the category because, the competitions that I was entering, you're limited to 2 entries per that style for subcategories, and so I had to put it under like American light lager. Uh, then I had to do it under a different one too because those categories filled up. This is kind of beer that I had on hand. I shouldn't have sent them off. I should have just kept them. But it was just interested to see how it would place being under another category. Uh, I think under American Light Lager, I think it scored like a 35 or a 36. I'd have to go back and check. So uh, that was kind of cool, to quite not be in style, but it kind of was. So now we wait about 60 minutes. But you know me, I'm going to get up probably every 10 minutes and stir the mash because I can't leave nothing alone. Let's see here. 10. Also, I use the spring water too for this. I don't know if I told you that. We got cluster hops going in. I feel like one of the cluster hops is kind of the way it was made historically. This is a historical style spring water. Normally, I use the RO water. I just didn't feel like building up a profile for it. Figured spring water was close enough, especially with it kind of being like a historical style, right? Like, they didn't have a whole lot of water chemistry back in the day. I'm sure there was some to some extent, or they knew like, hey, the water over here is good, kind of deal. I guess just depending on how far back you go. Looked like this froze up for just a minute. I don't know what that's about. My router's probably dying or something. But yep. So I've been on vacation since last Wednesday. and the see here last Wednesday, so I gotta go back Monday. I kind of feeling like that's not gonna make me very happy Monday morning, but it is what it is. Got to do some cool stuff on vacation. Went and saw Metallica. We got to see the first night. It was a band that Wolfgang was in, and then Pantera, then Metallica. Then we the second night that we saw Metallica, it was opening band was Ice Nine Kills. That was a pretty interesting show. It's kind of like emo meets metal, and they were like having this theatrical deal going on. Morrow, what's up, bud? Um, and then we saw Five Finger Death Punch, and then Metallica again. That last night they actually filmed it, I guess, for a show. So that was pretty cool. Got to see some of pretty much my favorite songs from them. Uh, we got to see Orion, which hands down is one of my favorite songs. The instrumentals on that are kind of insane. Got to see Call of Cthulhu, another instrumental that's awesome. They ended up taking out Unforgiven and placing No Leaf Clover for that, which I'm not mad about. That was a really good song live. Um, and then, of course, One was like the song that I wanted to see for sure. Got to see that, so that's awesome. Hey man, guess being sick today paid off. Well, uh, I hope everything's good for you. As far as that goes, I hope you're not terribly ill. Uh, Thanks for coming to hang out with me while you're sick, buddy. So it's been a while since we've done this live stream thing. I had all kinds of things last night going through my head to kind of talk about, but kind of running dry right now. Forgot most of them. So yeah, go me and my preparedness. Uh, Other than that, welcome to the show. So Mauro, we talked about a little bit of what everybody's brewed or brewing. What do you got going on? Yes, I do too suffer from bad allergies. I have to take a 24-hour Allegra in the morning, some Flonase spray, and then I take a Benadryl at night, 24 hours. So if I miss like one of those, like I'm done. So we're brewing a pre-prohibition lager today. Um, Recipe is in the description. It's the same. It's the same lager that I already brewed, and the video for that beer too is also in the description. But it's the one that basically that tore O-ring leaked out most of the beer out of the keg during one of the past live streams. Not the last one, but probably the one before that, I guess. I don't know. I know it's been a while, so but that was such a fantastic beer. I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with it, and I kind of feel like that was going to be one of those ones that it was a good like hot day beer, but also just any time. And so I wanted to go ahead and put that in the case in the keg and get it in the keezer. Planning on a pale ale tomorrow. Late edition overall agave. That's interesting. Good luck. Are you using? I guess I'm going to take it that you're using agave like the actual plant, and not any kind of syrups or anything. Huh? It's a syrup, I guess. Raw. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's also a brand, isn't it? Like the raw deals. I think I've seen like it in syrup form under the name of like raw, like Brown Label or whatever. I've thought about trying to use that too in some brews. My problem is probably a lot like everybody else's. There's so many things to brew and so little time. Yeah, in the raw. Yep, that's what I was thinking about. I've used some of their sugars before. So we're doing pretty good still on temperature. Hey Terzel, Maro's been doing a few braggots and stuff too lately. He's he's kind of gone a little nuts. Yep. Yeah, he's kind of been going wild on it. Hi, just homebrew. So we're brewing a pre-prohibition lager today. Um, Recipes in the description, and the first time that I brewed it, that video is also in the description too. If you're curious of how this beer is supposed to turn out, anyways. Uh, like I've said before here, um, this beer was really good. I really enjoyed it. I had a torn O-ring on a keg, and so like two, maybe three streams back, uh, the keg leaked out like 3.5 gallons of beer on the floor while I was streaming, and I didn't know about it until after the stream was over. So I didn't really get to spend a whole lot of time with that beer, and I'm redoing it now, and I'll never use those type of O-rings again because that sucked. So, just homebrew, tell us a little bit about yourself. We got some of the people that I know personally and are friends with in real life and all that. Maro and Terzel from Dock of the Bay. Looks like there's a couple other people watching that I may know or may not know. They just hadn't chimed in yet. But what do you like to brew? What are you brewing? What do you got brewing next? Just a home brewer from PA. I got a couple friends up in Pennsylvania. Um, let's see here. I'll say cool. Yep. Sometimes the rebrews can be kind of fun to see if you can capture that same deal or incorporate any improvements on. Are you improving it or are you just doing a complete rebrew of it? Agave maple tweaking it. Yep, that's fun too. How long you been homebrewing? Just on brew? $20 years. So you know a thing or two about some brewing, huh? I wish I would have started much earlier. I've been brewing since 2016 thereabouts. But you know, it's definitely been a fun trip for sure. I like to think that I know a thing or two, but then I'm constantly reminded that I need to execute on something else a little bit better, kind of hone in on some stuff. But that's just another part of the hobby, proven, right? So what's the beer to beat in Pennsylvania? What's your all-time favorite around there? Yeah. So I didn't start brewing until we had kids. The first ferment that I had going was it was supposed to be like a peach wine, brandy type deal. Uh, I used real peaches and all that. Got going through it, and it kind of ended up tasting a little bit like prison wine. It was pretty terrible. Um, so got rid of that, and then I think I did another attempt at a wine kind of like that, and then after that I was like, you know what, let's just switch to beer. And one of the beers that got me going down the line of trying to brew was we have a brewery here, Shiner Bock. It's a Texas deal, and it was their prickly pear beer. And so I was like, how do you make this? And then so I just started on extract kits. Did that for a couple years, switched into all green, and then I just hadn't looked back. Yeah, you did a root beer braggot and a banana Foster style braggot. But banana Foster style braggot sounds interesting to me for sure. You did a what was it? The first one you did that you shared with me, Triselle, was the Cigar City Brown Ale braggot. That was pretty good. I have fond memories of that. That thing was too good, in my opinion. Like I could probably drink more than enough of that one. Process and execution is slowly evolving. Though, yep, for sure. And the fun thing about homebrewing is not everybody's process or execution works for everybody else, right? And so you kind of find your own way. Uh, Sometimes a little slower than others. You get to some of the same points or whatever, but as long as you're constantly making better, then more power to you. You know, what did you do with for the root beer braggot? Did you take like a root beer extract? Yep. Don't worry about others. Yep. I don't know. I try to take keys from others, like those like top tips, right? And go from there. So I made a Varian wheat ale braggot with New Zealand wildflower pilsen cloves. The latest is the rye ale. Oh, you used actual roots for the root beer? That's pretty cool. I've heard you kind of got to be careful with the actual roots, like you can overpower easily with that. I have no idea. Couldn't even tell you, Margo. So if you're new to the channel, I live kind of pretty close to the train track. Sounds like we're gonna have a train. So if you hear it, that's what it is. Licorice. Licorice is isn't that the one that's the main component for root beer? Excuse me. Venture, my friend Ramon, how are you, buddy? Well, thank you. Hopefully, you can stop in. We need to get together soon. We got some stuff to talk about and drink, buddy. Have not. I follow some of them. I don't follow everybody, and really, it's kind of hard to watch everybody too. You know, there's just so many good channels out there right now. 2 tablespoons per gallon. A little bit goes a long way for sure. You know, when I did the thin mint stout, and I made the tinctures for those. A little definitely went a long way with those for sure. Both the chocolate and the mint. I was surprised um, when I did that. I did the deal where you dose it and then you figure out the formula how much you need. I ended up having a good glass of it, and I was did the math, and I came up short on those. But man, that beer still turned out really good. That cake was gone in like 10 days between my friends and I. It's more for the bitterness, star scene flavor. Got some star scene. Can't remember what I used that for. Think think that eggnog stout deal that I did. Maybe can't remember. It's been a while. It's been sitting in the spice cabinet for a while. Got some licorice in there too. Got personally harvested buckets full. So what do you do? Like seal up the buckets? How long's the shelf life of that stuff? Great bacon spice. The only thing I cook around here is beer and ribs, brisket, steaks, etc. I don't do a whole lot of baking personally. My wife is the baker. I don't know if you guys follow him, but Northwest Small Batch Brewing, he's put out a couple bread videos on beers that look interesting. The last one he did was to take a stout and add it to the beer or add it to the bread and bake it that way. We've done something similar before, like Saltgrass restaurant. They have a Shiner Bach bread, so we've done that a few times. And then we've also done like Shiner Bach beans. Then we also did. I made a Belgian double, and we made some Belgian waffles with that. That was really good. Baker at work for the steel yard. Jeez, that's nuts. Just grows all wild out there, huh? Some of those like wild jackpots are awesome. We had a mulberry, like it basically turned into a tree at the last shop, the last location that we were at, and we were out there eating them, you know, by the handful, and it was funny because like the next like day or day after that, I went and took an allergy test to get some like prescribed allergy medicine, and so they did a allergy test on you, and if you've never had one done, at least the way they did it with me, they drew a line down my arm and like put blocks, and then they kind of poke you with whatever the allergen is, and I was really susceptible to the mulberry, and so I was like, well, I'm not gonna stop eating them because they're so good. But yep, cooked a roast, a crock pot using Backwoods Bastard. It's a really good beer, man. I don't know if I would have done that. I'd have probably been like, this is too good to use. I use a lot of beer when I cook too. Like on ribs, I like to put a dark beer on, kind of midway through, and then as it's finishing, I like to take like a saison, kind of pour over it. Uh, I bet it was. I bet it was. That's a really really good beer. Really good beer. Yep. Like I said though, we've used like a Shiner Bock for beans and stuff though. It's turned out really well. Also used that on ribs too. Anybody else use any beer for cooking? What about you? Just homebrew? You still here? Hmm? Oh yeah, yeah. I've toyed with putting some on brisket too, kind of as it's getting close to being done. Last, I don't know, 2 hours, 3 hours on the pit. Most of the time though, with brisket, it's gonna be like a cheaper beer, like Schweiner Bock or something like that. I'm not gonna waste a really good expensive beer on that. Probably more likely to do that on ribs. Have you ever done a Dr. Pepper barbecue? No, I have not. Uh, I don't. I don't know. It seems to be hit or miss from the people that have done it that I've heard and seen do it. Um, I just I don't. Brisket's so freaking expensive. Uh, I don't want to turn out a bad one. So I mean, I guess at the end of the day, just turn it all into chopped beef. But simple idea, ribs, man, ribs. That's probably one of the easiest like barbecue things to do. Uh, doesn't take a whole lot of the beer, like I'll pour maybe half a beer on ribs. Uh, the Shinerbach beans is a good one too, for simple cooking with beer idea. Um, you do have to use a few of them, two, three maybe. It makes a lovely glaze. You talking about the Dr. Pepper, like a Dr. Pepper glaze? What I normally do, or what I had been doing, I hadn't done it the last two or three briskets, was I'll wrap it and then I'll throw it on the pit at like 3 o'clock in the morning and just let it go. Look up craft brew cooking. Yeah, so I don't do barbecue sauce. I can't do it. Um, barbecue sauce to me is for hiding mistakes. So whenever I throw some barbecue out on a plate, normally it's juicy as it is, like no sauce needed kind of deal. I guess I've learned to let go over time a little bit better about people that do want barbecue sauce with their food, but yeah, I can't do it personally. One that I haven't been able to let go is steak sauce. Like that, can't let that one go. Personally, anyways. Yeah, I don't know. I prefer to leave it as is. Personally, I'll go to when we go eat barbecue locally. I won't. Everybody's like want to hand you your plate or whatever. And they'll ask you how much sauce you want on there. I'm like none. I want to judge it as is. It sure is screwing you up today, but it's okay. We still love you, Mauro. So Mauro, what's it's not my fault. So what beers have you had lately that have kind of wowed you? Speaking of which, I'm gonna go grab a beer real quick. I'll be right back. Here's the beer that I was talking about earlier that I really enjoyed. Wasatch Brewery Devastator Double Bock Lager, and this is in the Dallas Fort Worth area. It's really, really good. All right, we'll see you here in just a little bit when you come back. Just homebrew. Let's see here. This is freaking good. Oh, you know what? It is not from the Dallas Fort Worth. It's Salt Lake City, Utah. I stand corrected. So the Aldi beers, they're really good. Well, some of them. I've had a few that were kind of not that great. They had a Shiner Bock, like I guess clone or whatever. The labels even looked like identical to the beer. Uh, it like almost hits it just right if you've had several Shiner Bocks like I have in life, but it's one of those things, for a buck or two cheaper, why wouldn't you kind of deal. Uh, but there are some that are really good. I haven't had a whole lot of them though. They had what was it like their what's the Christmas package deal? The Advent calendar case beer. Most of those were pretty good. They had some wild ones, like whoever's doing their sour beers kind of were missing, in my opinion. Like they were weird combinations or just not great. Like, and then they had one that I had to pour out. I think it was like a was it? I think it was like a Christmas ale that I had to pour out. It was too had too much spice to it. Like, and I'm ginger sensitive, and so I suspect that it probably had some ginger in there, especially being like a Christmas ale. Makes Christy upset about my ginger sensitivity. Yeah, it's bad. Like seriously. Like if I can't pick it out on my food, I gotta throw it away. It's just way too abrasive. It like ruins the whole experience to me. I One time we called up to order out some Chinese food, and I asked him. I said, "How much ginger do you put in your deal?" He's like, "I don't know. Some." I was like, "Don't put any in my plate, please." Yeah, I don't know how they get their brewery stuff. I guess they contract it out or something like that. Maybe buy some old beer and repackage it. I don't know. But well, looks like the dogs have came out here to hang out too. Let's see here, getting pretty close on time now. Looks like I'm gonna need to fire up the kettle. We're just a few degrees below. I think it'll be okay. I would probably agree with that. Lesser known products from bigger name rebranded, and maybe styles that that brewery or whatever isn't necessarily known for, but they're taking a step towards maybe brewing those or something. I don't know. I don't know how it works. It's it's kind of interesting to me, but not interesting enough to look up. So there's just some things I don't need to know in life, and I guess that's one of them. But I will tell you that this Bach has got me wanting to brew another one. So I might do that when it cools off. I said I wasn't going to do any pilsners or lagers in the summer, but I just had to do it on this one. I miss that beer too much. You know, a little harder to keep the house and temp and all that, but I'm willing to fight my my cold fermentation setup a little bit for this one particularly. Uh, maybe once it cools off, gets the fall and the summer, maybe I'll try to hit some lagers and pilsners pretty hard, have them ready for the spring. Yes, that is a really good pilsner. I agree. I do agree with that one. At room temp, it smells like honey. How often do you guys let something get to room temp to get the full experience with a beer? I know like so most of the time, like our bigger, excuse me, darker, richer beers, like as they warm up, they turn into a totally different beer and get a totally different experience there. But how often are you guys doing that? I do it occasionally, not anymore, as much as I used to, anyways. But yeah, maybe 1 in 6. Anybody else have a problem or not problem with drinking uncarbonated beer? Like if you're transferring into your keg or whatever, and you've got a little bit left over, and drinking what's left from the fermenter. I personally do not have a problem with that. I think it's part of taste testing it, right? Like seeing how you did, and then it's another data point as the beer progresses, right? That's the way I view it, anyways. All right, our 10-minute timer's up. Let's see. Alrighty. Wait, people do not do that. I guarantee you there are a lot of people that do not do that. I absolutely guarantee you that. Like, I'm sure I know quite a few of them. That rye IPA that I did, uh man, it was like very pineapple-y when it was uncarbonated. And then I did a forced carb on it. So I did like 30 psi for 2 days. Then I backed it down to serving temp or serving pressure about 7. And the first day it was still fairly like pineapple-y. And then after that, that pineapple note kind of fell off a little bit. We got some tropical notes out of it, more citrus than anything. But I know when I shared that beer at Brew Club, that thing, everybody was noting like they felt like it was a little too fruity, a little too tropical, or whatever. I really enjoyed that beer. That was a good beer. Um, that thing, it kicked. See here, it kicked Tuesday, I think it was, or maybe Monday night. Uh, but yeah, that was kind of, that one kind of sucked too, because that last little bit in the keg, unfortunately, it got kicked up when I moved kegs around in the keezer. Uh, I thought maybe I had a couple more pints in it than I had, but I basically swapped it around, moved it to the end, and I kicked all that trub and stuff up, and I pulled the tab, and yeah, it was terrible. It was awful. It was very chewy because of all the stuff that was in the beer. I had to pour out that last one, unfortunately. I know that the American wheat is fixing to kick. Um, I haven't I haven't poured out of that. It's been, see, I moved all the kegs around, I think Monday night, and so I moved them all around, and so I don't know what that one's gonna do. That one was kind of like it wasn't, it's not like a completely muddy beer to begin with, but it's a wheat beer for sure, you know. So it's not completely clear, and so I probably need to connect my tap back to that one, and just polish off that keg so that way I can have room for 2 more now at that point. So right now on tap, I've got the Summer Jam, the Lithuanian Farmhouse, um, one of my all-time favorite beers. And then um, I've got the American Wheat still on tap for another probably pour or two, I think, out of that one. And then the last thing that I have in the keezer, I just bled it down to serving temp or serving psi last night. I haven't taken a pour out of it yet. Is the latest raw ale, and I called that one "I Don't Care," uh, because I don't. I mean, it's just a beer. It's a good beer. I used a different yeast on that one. I normally use Voss Kleik on it. I normally ferment that one at about 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Uh, Typically, um, this go round, I went ahead and used the Lithuanian Farmhouse one on that one. I really like that yeast. I like the phenolics that it throws, some of the citrus, black pepper, clove combinations that I get off of it. And I figured that was going to be a pretty good combination. I haven't tasted that one other than when I kegged it, and it tasted pretty good. We'll see probably tonight how it does. And like I said, I need to go connect some taps. That beer though is earmarked for a special deal, so I plan on doing an episode for the podcast on raw ales, and that one will be featured. I'll do a regular video on it too, and then after basically 2 to 4 pints of that, it's going to my local homebrew shop, and it'll be featured on the guest tap there. So that's kind of fun and exciting. They asked me to do that, so we'll see how everybody likes that one. I've had really good lucks with raw ales. People not experiencing them ever before, and then they'll have one of mine and kind of be more curious about it. I think raw ales are one of those things that are approachable from anybody's standpoint. If you've never brewed or don't have a shit ton of equipment or whatever, a lot of time available or whatever, you probably knock out a raw ale pretty quickly, cheaply, effectively, efficiently, all that. I think I just love that style / technique. And I'll dive off into a little bit more of that during the podcast of covering raw ales in general. So the shelf lives are normally pretty fast on them. And I say that because from my experience, and I don't have a shit ton of experience with them. I've done probably about 5, 6 now. They seem to fall off after about a month. Not that they're like bad, it's a different beer for sure. Kind of they start shifting to be more bland. But it's still not a terrible beer at that point. But normally, like, I guess I'm fortunate enough to be connected with enough friends and stuff like that. Like, if I've got a beer that I've got to move, I can fill up, 3, 4 growlers, send them off to friends, or send cases or whatever I've got to do to get stuff out. As far as them sticking around, so I feel like between week 2 to week 3, they're probably at their prime. Week 4, it's still there. By week 6, it's shifted. Things have started to kind of turn muted a little bit. Some other flavor profiles kind of come into play there. But then after that, like, it's just a steep drop off where it's definitely a different beer at that point. Like I said, I've not had one go bad just because they're not around for 2 to 3 months around here. Between myself and my friends and coworkers and stuff like that. Like, I can normally brew, or I can normally distribute beer fairly quickly that way. I just had to clean out the room in the back there that I house a lot of the brew stuff, and I had a lot of things in bottles and stuff like that. So I ended up, because of the channel and I brew so much, I had like 7 cases of just mixed match beer. Some of it bottled condition, some of it from bottling sessions and stuff like that. And so I had a lot of beer sitting around here, and I basically made some mixed packs to some friends. I was like, y'all have got to get this out of my way. Like, I'm done with it. And some of it was stuff that I completely forgot about ever brewing. 2, was like, oh man, this was over a year ago. Things like that. And so a lot of them didn't have labels or any blue masking tape to say what it was. So I've had some people tell me that they're playing beer roulette with them. They're like, "Yep, it's a beer. It's clear, or it's a dark, or whatever." So that's been kind of funny. I told them, I said, "Look, I don't want to hear about any bad beer. Like some of them are a year old or older. Only tell me about the good ones." But kind of as far as raw ales go, I think everybody should try at least to do one. Um, just for the experience. I think you get a little bit more raw understanding or whatever of what uh, what the malts kind of taste like, right? In the beer itself, to me, I feel like it's kind of harder to describe like what a raw ale tastes like. Like to me, it's kind of like a Hefeweizen meets like hazy IPA kind of deal with like a thick mouthfeel kind of setup. We've got all those proteins still in the mix there. Um, I do mine kind of a little bit different than some other people do it. I kind of feel like raw ales are one of those things where it's like there's many keys to success there. No one of them are wrong, but the biggest key is to not boil, right? And so I what I've done is I end up pasteurizing the wort and then no chilling it. I kind of feel like that's like more like quote unquote traditional for that style of technique or whatever, and then ferment it out. The cool thing about it is, from my experience, especially when bottle conditioning, they're ready within a week to drink, like fully carved and everything, and they taste great. That fresh. We have 7 people watching. Let's give this man 7 likes. Push that. Yes, please. No, whatever you can do to help. I've, I feel truly blessed for everybody that takes a few moments of their time out of their day to watch one of my videos. I think that I have some of the best subscribers and audiences for sure. There's quite a few of you that I know personally. We exchange text messages, emails, see each other, weekly, monthly, whatever the case may be. Some of you I've never met, and I consider you family. Some of you, it's been a long time since we've seen each other, and I can't wait to share a pint with you. I really wish that almost every single one of the nearly like 500 subs that I have, like I could just throw this just huge party and like have all you guys out and just sit around, drink beer, and talk about beer and other fermentables and all that. Like I'm truly, I feel truly blessed for the audience that has found me at least semi entertaining. Cheers. But closing in. Yep. So we got 10 more minutes left in the mash. Then we're going to do a mash out this go round. So who mashes out? I normally don't. It's kind of like style dependent or what I'm aiming for. Uh, I had read that mashing out kind of helps head retention. So I've been trying to do that. Hops and wrenches. What's up, Tim? How are you, buddy? I hope you're doing well. Maru, I do not. Is there a particular reason why you do not mash out, Maru? I used to say originally that I'm mashing out essentially whenever like I'm heating back up from mash. So I'm gonna complete that step as I warm up. Now that I've been more like into entering competitions and stuff like that, I've decided that I'm going to take one less variable out of the equation for making great beer. Not to say that I didn't make great beer anyways beforehand. It's just like, look, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. So what are the different things that I'm actually doing that are having the biggest impact? On your lunch break. Well, hopefully you have a good lunch break, sir. Nice and relaxing. No, I've just never put it to practice. Yeah, I can't say that I definitely notice a difference with or without mashing out. I've never really have run that kind of an experience or experiment between two of the same beers. I probably should, just to see if it actually adds anything or not. Supposedly at that point it's supposed to help denature, the enzymes and stop conversions and stuff like that, which ideally you're going to be doing anyways when you're bringing it up from your mash temp upwards into a boil. I feel like anyways. Like I said, supposedly I had read that allegedly anyways, that I guess that point it helps lock in the components for head retention. And so that's the main reason why I've been doing it like when I'm brewing to style most of the time anyways. Excuse me. So how hot is it where everybody's at? Because it's showing that it's about 95 here. Would not, well, should knock on some wood. Looks like I lagged out there for a minute. I don't know what happened there, but I think the internet for that happening, in case you missed it. So what else is going on? What have you been brewing lately? What have you been drinking lately? What are you brewing next? Tell us. We patiently await. Damn, what the hell? Why you lag? Yep. Hop a lantern. Saw that on Facebook. That's your pumpkin ale, isn't it? Pumpkin hazy IPA. Yep. That's right. I remember that now. How's it taste? Did you do any improvements? Because this is what, the third, fourth time you've brewed it? Third year you've brewed it, right? How are you bringing the pumpkins in on that? It's extract, correct? I think originally you used pumpkin, didn't you? really thick. Raw ale gives you +1 health, just like raw bags of flour. Well, I should write Bethesda and tell them that Skyrim 6 should have raw ale sold at the taverns. That would probably be pretty cool. I'd play Skyrim just for that. Added 1 can of pumpkin. What's your ABV on that bad boy? Closing in on the mash. We got just over 2 minutes left. %, nice. Is it thick, like chewy thick, or just under chewy? As a matter of fact, you might as well just give me that. What are you brewing next, Tim? Like a liquefied pumpkin pie. Interesting. Like with the Cool Whip or ice cream, or without? You could make it like a pumpkin milkshake if you add lactose. Pumpkin ale IPA milkshake. I'm not good at those. Not like the hot, what is it? Homebrew for Life stream, Hoppy Hour, like all those those people that name beers like that. More serious when it comes to that stuff. So I see we've got 8 people watching. So I know some of you guys that are just hanging out, not chatting, put a message here. Let's talk. Who are you? What do you do? What is your profession? What do you drink? Okay, so you already did add the lactose at the end. Okay, cool. Nice. So it probably is thick then. That's awesome. I'm happy that you've stuck with that that beer like 3 years in a row. Kind of. I know you've been improving it slowly but surely, kind of deal. Hi, Jennifer. Howdy. How are you? Yeah. So, if you don't know Hops and Wrenches, he's a friend of mine. Um, he's got a YouTube channel as well, and so he covers homebrewing and his Battle Nova. So if you don't know what a Battle Nova looks like, go check out his channel. It's a pretty cool project he's working on. Working at the lab today. So Jennifer, do you homebrew? What do you brew if you do? If not, what's your favorite beer to drink? Also, are you subscribed? Because if not, you should do that too. All right. So, done with the mash. You guys are going to have to entertain yourselves for just a few moments. I got to pull this bag out. In the meantime, play nice. Nobody's in charge, okay? I'm hoping that you can all be nice to each other while I'm away. Oh. All right. Let's see here. Brewing a pumpkin ale this weekend. Faves are all of them. Hops got my kids. Kids. Huge delay between the video and the chat. Train. Yep, train. So that's pretty cool. Jennifer, my buddy Hops there, he's brewing or he just brewed a pumpkin ale, just got it finished up. No idea what I'm brewing next. You should do something totally off the wall. Like an imperial cream ale or something. Just go all out. So, in all my preparations, I forgot to get a sample cup for the pre-boil. I'll be right back with that. Sorry, while I was inside, I decided that I would get another beer. So this is my summer jam. This is the Lithuanian farmhouse. Now the condensation's kind of probably killing the looks. Imperial small beer. Slade's plans. Who doesn't forget things? Yeah. I I typically try to lay everything out the night before. I actually ended up milling my grains about 30 minutes before we started today. Went to do a Scottish ale next. Yeah, it is. It's pretty freaking high. Thank you. Cheers, y'all. Yes. All the phenols, every single one of them. Citrus, pepper, clove. Yes. So I've brewed this beer like probably, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 times. Um, Normally it's our late spring, summer beer. I actually brewed it for my birthday in December for the birthday party. We had at that party we had the Thin Mint Stout, we had my birthday stout, and then we had this thing. We also had cream soda too. But yeah, so the that Thin Mint Stout lasted 10 days. This was the next one to kick, 12 days. And then the birthday stout was the last one to kick. I think that was New Year's, right around then. Um, Actually, Tim from Hops and Wrenches was over when it kicked, and I think it kicked when we were brewing the Rye Irish Stout. Do a light Scottish ale. The Scottish beers are ones that I need to try to attempt eventually. I'll get around to it one day. So let's get some pre-boil gravity. Oh no, yeah, I'm really interested in the Scottish ales. I haven't done one yet. Um, I guess ideally you're probably supposed to start off at what was how do they do the shilling deal? It's what like 20, 40, 60 or something like that. So ideally you probably could start off at the low end and then work your way up. Sorry, trying to cool the sample here. You've done a couple Scottish ales, hadn't you, Terzel? I'm pretty sure Tim has too. So Jennifer, I know you said you did the pumpkin ale. What else have you brewed lately, or what are you planning on brewing other than that? Running out of table space right here at the edge. Alrighty, let's see how we did. For 1042. All right, right on the money. 1042. Later, Tim. That's tough. No local brew store. Yeah. Doing an English porter in September. All right. Let me take care of a few things here real quick before I get back into the chat. Gotta go pay the chickens. I'll be right back. Well, that sucks. Brand new brew bag First time using it. Already got a hole. I've got some that I've used for the last 3 years without an issue. All right. So we're going to mash out 168 for 10 minutes. Let's see here. Doing an English porter in September. Yeah, so local homebrew stores, man, if you're lucky enough to have one, you better support them because you don't know what it's like to be without one. I had to go through that. Luckily, only for about 6 months before before the other one came back in. We had one here that was here for years. Really great people, hopping great. Unfortunately, they had to close down. And a member of the brew club and also old customer of the local homebrew store, Kevin Setta, decided that he was going to open up a store and to fill that need, right? It really sucks having to depend on Amazon or the big online stores, Northern Brewer and More Beer. I have been screwed over so many times by both of them. I won't do it. It's kind of hard, like especially for me when I have a deal where I'm like, okay, I need to brew this beer by this time so I can film it, edit it, and release it, and all that. And then next thing I know, 2-3 weeks after I put my order in, I still don't have my stuff. Order from Northern Brewer when I was out of onions. I mean, you do what you got to do, right? I try to run to the local homebrew store as much as possible to just kind of keep my money in the community. If you don't have that opportunity, you just don't have that opportunity. To me, that $100 bill or whatever I'm spending means a whole lot more to my local guys, ever will for Northern Brewer or More Beer for that matter. Contacting more beer with the problems that I had. They were just like, oh well, you know. And I mean, I kind of get it when you're a corporation and all that, but it is what it is. Chris, what's up, Braj? Good to see you, bud. Yeah, definitely be thankful that you have a local homebrew store. And I cannot stress enough to make sure that you get with them. So, Chris, you probably wonder why I got you here. I'm just kidding. It's good to see you, man. Hopefully your day's going well. But yeah, so I try to support the local guys. I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes it takes them a little longer if they don't have something in stock, but I'd rather just support them. But I get it. That 6 months without a homebrew store, that sucked bad. I feel for the people that don't have a local homebrew store. that they can just run down there and grab majority of the things that they need. Oh, Clawhammer selling supplies. That's cool. That's pretty cool. I don't know. I mean, they're great people. They have a great online presence. They have a great attitude about them and everything. Uh, I just recently upgraded my kettle from this 10-gallon anvil to a 20-gallon. So that way I can do 10-gallon batches, you know. And I was on the fence of just buying one of their kettles without all the bells and whistles, you know, electric controlled stuff, and using it out here on the propane burner. Because they're such great people and stuff. But I ended up going back with another anvil. I mean, I like this kettle. I didn't think that that moving up would be that big of a deal. You know, and I decided that once I go and get an all-in-one system, it'll probably be that Clawhammer system that they've got. I don't have room for it. I would probably have to just give up, you know, propane to justify getting an all-in-one system like that. But I don't have an accessible plug outside for one right now, and then just doing it inside just isn't feasible right now for us. You know, I've talked about building a brew shed or whatever, and it's not totally out of the realm of things, but you know, I'm looking at the cost and the time investment and stuff in that, and I don't know if that's feasible. uh Also the restrictions for buildings and all that. We live here on the Gulf Coast, and so we've got some building requirements and like windstorm regulations and all that, and windstorm is a hassle to have to deal with. We've got into more arguments with our insurance company about this giant oak tree here in the backyard than anything with our insurance company. Not sure I'd rebuy my silo basket, leaves a lot to be desired. I was looking at like the spike fermenters there for a while, and I think that there's a great deal to be had there for sure. I looked at their kettles and stuff, and I just excuse me, I didn't see anything really like nuts and bolts, right? That they did that wasn't done by someone else, right? So you've got to heat it and be able to cool it and all that, right? You know. Yeah, fire makes me feel like I'm doing something primal caveman stuff, I guess. I agree with that. You know, the bad thing is like right now it's like freaking 98 degrees outside, you know, and I'm sitting under here with this, and so it's probably like 135 or so, you know, right here. You know, over here is probably a little closer to like 110. But yeah, you know, uh when you're brewing outside, it's weather dependent. You know, I'm not a fair weather brewer, but there have been times even when I'm like, oh, it's just too terrible outside. You know, I have two CF15s and one Spike Flex fermenter. They're all great. Yeah, uh, you know, I've got the Delta and the Firmzilla right now for temperature control fermentations, and both of them seem to be working pretty well. I think it's probably about time to retire the lid for the Firmzilla one and get a new one there. I think I messed up when I was trying to get the temp coil in there. I think I wallered out that hole a little too big. So I worry a little bit about that. I haven't had any signs of oxidation or anything like that, or any infections as far as that goes, due to that. So I think I'm good there, but I want to be able to pressure ferment. And right now the all rounder is the only one that I got that could probably do that. I'm Sorry, that's the puppy. Barley, come here. Come here, Barley. Hi, Barley. Good boy. Thank you. So, yep. So I know how I had said that we were mashing out. Apparently, we're not. I looked away for just a little too long and did not catch the temperature. So we're not, in fact, mashing out today. My bad. Guess we're moving into the boil. So, Chris, everybody else has told us what they've brewed recently, what they're brewing next. What's on your chopping block? Oh, I forgot. I got a beer over here. Again, this is the Summer Jam Lithuanian Farmhouse. Got a hazy with Mosaic and Amarillo just finishing up right now. And I brewed a pre-Prohibition Porter this week. Just finished pineapple smoothie. Man, look at you brewing your ass off. How's your pre-Prohibition Porter? I've only brewed one of them. I've got the recipe to rebrew it. Festivals. Yep. I guess it's fixing to be that time, huh? $10.13 right now, so I think it's the tastes okay. I used Lutra because I needed done quickly. Yeah, Lutra do that. So for anybody that's watching that doesn't know, hadn't heard, hadn't seen, or anything, um, I wanted to take an opportunity to remind you to subscribe if you haven't. I'm closing in on 500 subs, so like light term goal. I feel like it'd be kind of cool to hit 500 before the end of the year. Also, I started a podcast for the channel. The last episode released earlier this month. The next episode will be coming out at the beginning of next month. It's a once a month deal. And then I also have a second channel also called ferMentors. If you go to the description here for the video, you'll find the recipe for today, the video of the first time I brewed this. You'll also find the links to the podcast and the second channel ferMentors there. So also additionally, anyways, the podcast for Jaggers Brewing Co. and ferMentors are on Spotify as well. I should have put those links in the description, but I in fact did not. But if you've listened or watched either of those, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's been pretty cool projects that I've been working on kind of in the background. Hopefully they'll take off a little bit better. We'll see. But yep. So Jennifer, are you a member of a homebrew club? I know you said you didn't have a local homebrew store. Chris, I know we've probably talked about it, right? Like You compete, don't you? Throw some entries into some competitions. I thought so. I thought we've talked about it before. I enjoy it too. I'm not really good at it per se. I mean, I get, mid 30s, 40s score sheets back, but the one that kind of killed me a little bit was the 44 on the wood age saison, uh, and no metal. Like I know there had to have been some really good ones there. Yes, it is a legit score. I know. Like I'm not throwing rocks at it. Just like damn, it seemed like before I started competing, it used to be a little easier to get a medal. Not that I'm in it for the medals, honestly. Like I want the feedback to make better beers, but some hardware would not hurt my feelings. Not gonna lie. I scored a bronze with a 36 or a 38 Rogan beer earlier this year. So I'm gonna say, I guess whoever took the wood category, like those had to have been really, really tight scores, right? Yep, you never know, that's for sure. I'm not naming any names, but somebody should have been measuring out these hops already, by God. All right, so we just had the break. Looks like I'm froze. Don't know what's going on with that. That's awesome. Thank you, internet. Anybody there? Looks like it's still lagging. And I froze. Hello. Huh. Okay. Well, it's froze on my screen. So, anyways, we just had the break. Pretty good. So, about cleared up now, so it's time for the hops. 60-minute edition of Cluster going in. Alrighty. No, so I do not scoop or skim the hot break. I figure if the beer doesn't want it, it's just going to kick it out there and boil. And then when I transfer, stuff is going to be there. I was actually fixing to ask that question: who all here skims or scoops? Jennifer, you compete. Very cool. Recently a 38 in gold and fruit, but 34 in wit beer, no metal. Oh man, that's rough. Beer Quaz, what's up, buddy? What's up, Braj? Good to see you, man. So somebody should start a timer. Let's see here. Next edition's 45 minutes. So we're gonna do 40 minutes. That way, if I'm distracted. Jennifer, do you skim or scoop the hot break? What about you, Beer Quaz? Do you? I mean, man, I just and this is gonna sound funny because like I'm on YouTube and stuff. I just don't like shit spying on me. All right. Um. So, what is your reasoning behind scooping, Chris? Hot break skim light beers. Okay, cool. I can see the reasoning behind doing that. Clarity, yeah. I'm so not that I'm end all be all or anything like that, right? But I know there for a while, uh when when I was talking with some other people, some other YouTubers and stuff, you can't make clear beer unless you chill, you temperature ferment, or you skim. And I've not done all those and still have made some pretty crystal clear, like Berliner Weiss, right? And in other beers. And so I'm not I'm not discounting, right. Like the more stuff that you keep out of your fermenter, theoretically the clearer your beer will be, right? And all that. But I think that there's probably more to it than that. And I think Bear Claws kind of hit it there on the head is like the Whirlfloc tablet and findings and cold crash and stuff like that. Um but I've bottled conditioned and non cold break or stored beer before and had it come out pretty well, fairly crystal clear. I mean, I didn't scoop anything out of this one, you know what I mean? All I used was yeast nutrients and Whirlfloc, you know. Never used finings. Yeah, I guess is Whirlfloc not a fining? Like I was under the impression it was. I don't know. I've never really looked it up. I just assumed. I use findings for beers that I want to finish quickly, and since using or getting Orflock, nothing but clear brew. I kind of concur with that. But everybody has a little bit different experience, right? Time for another cigar. Yeah, so Beerquaz does the Kreisen deal, and I find that very interesting. I would like to know more. Eventually, try to attempt to do it myself, but I mean, right? So you're not ready until you're ready. I can make all the excuses in the world of why not to do it or not being ready to do it, but I really should try it at least once on something. But not today. So, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the way that I understand it is you're taking some of the stuff off the fermenter and you're holding it until it's ready for packaging, right? And then you basically are using that for your priming solution, correct, Beerquaz? Chris Morrow. So autocorrect is added again for you, huh, bud? Brew a little extra until 2 days before packaging. Top crops and yeast, then where you pitch it. Top crop. Okay. So I was mistaken with the way that it was done. It's still super interesting, for sure. You just pitch clear wort with no yeast. It's called a guile. Okay. One day, I'm gonna do it. I'll probably bug the ever loving shit out of you about it, Beerquaz, for like 2 weeks, and then I won't do it for like 6 months. Then I won't do it for like 6 months, and then I'll just do it randomly. It's the way I roll. Overthink it. That's like my middle name. Also, wing it. Wing it is also my middle name. So you can arrange it however you want to there. So who here still bottles can, or who here mostly like bottle conditions, or what is it that you mostly do? Do you keg? Do you drink it straight out of your fermenter? That's a good hint there, Beerquaz. Thanks. I'll look into it. It's something that I was curious about when you first mentioned it to me, and it's just something that's kind of like been back there that I didn't really remember about until you brought it up again. So uh, I'll need to go write that down after the stream to put it on my to do list. Jennifer, are you still in here? You bottle, you keg? I haven't really looked back since getting into kegging. I still want side by side a batch split between keg and bottle condition. Like I feel like technically, if done right, there really shouldn't be too much difference there, right? Um, I've pretty much have switched entirely to kegging. I did bottle condition some beers fairly early into the year. I since have gotten a beer gun, and for all my entries and stuff like that, I've been using that directly from the keg, so I no longer have to say, okay, this is going to be an entry beer. This isn't going to be an entry beer. Sweet. Um, so I don't know how long you've been following me, Jennifer, on YouTube or whatever, Instagram. Um, but I got my beer gun kind of towards the beginning of the year, and so it was the first little bit that I've been using for beer entries and stuff like that. So I'm kind of excited about that. I've bottled a few, quite a few beers now since I have that. You know, I think that it's probably one of the cheaper ways to get into bottling from the keg, right? Who all use a beer gun here, or what else do you use? Anybody use any of those counterflow pressure fillers? That was kind of on my deal, but on my radar. But I decided that the beer gun was a little bit looked like user friendly from the beginning kind of deal, and cheaper and more available. Walked into my local homebrew store and they had one, you know, and to free up kegs. Yeah, um, it's kind of been handy. I haven't given too many. I haven't given away too many of the beers that I've bottled from the keg like that. It's most of the time if I'm giving away beer, it's from the keg. It's in the growler, just because like it's a party or there's two or three people getting together, kind of deal. I like my counter pressure filler. I am super interested in which one to get to play around with. Um, and that was the biggest deal. So it was like counter pressure versus beer gun was 50-50, and then the counter pressure team is like, everywhere, like between like three or four different ones. Some people said they had really good luck with the Amazon one, and then other people were like, was it ITAP or whatever, and so there was just so many to choose from. For sure, I have an old counter pressure filler, but it's cranky. I use a bottling bucket. So, um, when I was bottle conditioning, and when I still do, um, I never use the bottling one minus two or three beers, and they were like recent, like within the last, I don't know, 2 years, right, of me doing it. So the first one was the Jaggers versus Mr. Beer kit. I used the bottling one there. Looking back, that beer was oxidized as shit. That was a terrible beer. I hated that beer. As a matter of fact, I hated it so much. I only drunk one, and I could not drink the rest of them. And I gave them away to friends, and they thought it was fantabulous. And so, like, I guess they like cardboard or something, you know. Um, like almost every beer I've ever used the bottling wand on was oxidized. I don't know why. That's pretty smart. I mean, I like the keg because I can drop the Kryzen in it, shake it up, mix it, and then 4 to 5 hours run it into bottles. I mean, you can't argue with somebody that's got a system in place that they're happy with, you know, like uh, if it's turning out good for them and all that, then great. Like that's pretty awesome. Kick up this bowl just a little bit. You're not dumber than a box of rocks. Quit. You're a pretty fart smeller. Definitely understand being cheap. Nothing wrong with that, buddy. There for a while, I I was having I had a few issues with some bottled beers that I was using, and I thought maybe somehow like the bottles got infected and all that. So I went and I bought some new bottles. I will reuse pop top bottles from some of the breweries. Um, 5 pounds of CO2 is $20 here. Got to get check back. CO2. I to tell you the truth, CO2 is one of those things I don't know what I pay for. I really don't. I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. I kind of view it like at this point it's kind of like fuel. It doesn't matter what it costs. I kind of need it, you know. We'll see you in a minute, beer quas. Thanks, beer quas. Cheers. Being a welder, I got an inside track on CO2. I spun to all my lockers, which helped. I bet. Go ahead and build up some of that natural carbonation. That's one reason why I want to get into some pressure fermentation stuff. Uh, you know, so I'm a big proponent of Quake, right? But it's not to get beers done quicker, honestly. My philosophy on it, and I don't think that anybody that's trying to get beers done quickly is necessarily wrong or whatever, but I'm chasing those esters and all that yeast can throw at the beer. And so to me, doing things like pressure fermentation and stuff like that is it's a great idea. And I really want to take a trip down the pressure fermentation aspect. The only thing that's holding me back right now is the lid for my all rounder. I'm a little worried that when I went and was drilling the holes for the temp twister cooler, that I wallered out some of those little too hard. So I need to buy the like official replacement now that they were back in stock. What do you pressure ferment in, Chris? Wallered out as a fun tool. Yeah. So professionally, I'm in the automotive repair uh, industry, and I'm a service manager for a small independent shop who does a decent volume. Originally, I come from turning wrenches and all that. Um, so I have a professional vocabulary, and then I have a blue collared vocabulary, and sometimes the two meet. What do you mean, the beer or the vessel? Yeah. So, what vessel do you? What vessel are you using for pressure fermentation? Because right now, uh, my pressure ferment setup would be the all rounder. I could probably get away with a little bit of PSI in the Delta, but honestly, I don't want to mess that thing up. So I'm going to leave it as is. Don't let him BS you. He makes up words. I do make up words like whoa. She has been a witness to a great many words that I've made up. I use my Spike CF15S. Okay, cool. I think that was the one that I was looking at when I was looking at conical fermenters. That's a conical, correct? Sinky kegs. That's I've tried. So my boss has a full keg of Coors Light that's been sitting around for like 4 years, and I've been telling him like, dude, you know that thing's not good, right? Like that beer's bad. Let me give you your deposit on that keg and take that keg home for projects, and he hasn't let off of it yet. So, do you have a favorite fermenter, Chris? What about you, Jennifer? Doc, Ultrazel, Chris? Y'all got some favorite fermenters? I had this favorite plastic fermenter, believe it or not, a bucket. Um, I so I was watching Chop and Brew there for a little bit, and he named his fermenters. So if you go back and you look at some of these things, instead of names, I've got numbers. And this one's number 2, and it has a corresponding lid that's numbered 2, 1, whatever. So I had some problems with some plastic fermenters. A couple of them got infected intentionally with mixed cultures and stuff like that. So I went and I numbered them, and so that way I knew which ones were mixed firms, and those live on the other side of the brewery, where the other ones live on the other side. So uh, bucket number 1, and so I went and I bought some other ones. So like a fool, the 2 new ones I numbered number 1, number 2. The two old ones that I hadn't inoculated uh were I decided to serial number them triple zero and quad zero. I don't know why. Just is what it is, right? So number one and quad zero were my favorites. I'm digging my anvil bucket fermenters. Can't pressure ferment through though. Yeah, no, that was one of my biggest holdups for wanting to get an anvil fermenter. I like their products. I use their kettles and their temp controllers. It's easy to clean and sanitize. I have a buddy who wanted NHC Gold in plastic buckets. Yeah, I've got plenty of friends that still ferment to this day in plastic buckets in another bucket full of ice or whatever the case may be. Yep, that's the one. I have an old first gen Blickman conical and spun, cranked out 50 plus beers. That's awesome. That's awesome. How many brews do you think you have under you guys? Chris, Doc, Jennifer, Morrow. Yeah, I've got a couple glass fermenters. So one the oldest glass carboy that I use. Uh, Now I'll use it for mixed ferm. That Valor yeast was the last one that was through it. I think 30, 50 to 70. No clue. Yeah, I have no clue either. I feel like I've got to be past 100, 200 brews. Yeah, I can see that with you. Most of yours are 1 gallon, aren't they, Terzel? Brew number 28. I really wish that I would have kept better track going through stuff. Definitely under 200 gallons so far. I remember looking uh and I can't remember. I want to say the first year of the YouTube channel, I was right at like 40 or 45. And then I definitely scaled back this whole second year. I'm definitely way under that for sure. Um, pretty much every brew that I've done, I think has made it onto the channel this year. 10 to 15 per year. Not sure. Been at it for 30 years. Wow. So you definitely know a thing or two about brewing, huh, Jennifer? Maybe 200 ish. Be right back. All right, Terzel, we'll see you in a minute. Um, I remember looking at during the first year of the channel, and I knew I was creeping up on like the legal limits allowed here in the U.S. I can't remember how many gallons that is off the top of my head. Yep, know a little, always evolving. Yep, that's the name of the game. So, chat, what's the best beer that you think you've brewed? I think I'm trying to think here. I think the first time that I brewed this one, the pre-prohibition lager, um, I was like, I brewed this. Like, are you serious? Um, Jeez, man, I don't know. And after all, Chris, Jennifer, Terzel, Justin, Morrow, anybody, what's y'all's favorite beer that you've brewed? What's the best beer that you think you've brewed? White House Honey Ale. Brewed a killer Kolsch earlier this year, but I guess that's a pretty simple beer. Man, a good Kolsch is hard to brew. Best beer is American Light Lager. I think craft to brew recipe. IPAs. Wheelhouse. I'm not the biggest IPA fan. If I drink an IPA, it's really got to be a juicy or hazy personally. Um, though I'm a big rye person, I love rye, and I just brewed that rye IPA that to me was killer. I don't think that it was like a 50-point beer or anything like that. I'm waiting for some score results to come back on that one, but I got one score sheet back on it, and it scored 72 out of 100. So I think that brings it down to 36, right, out of 50. Husband likes to be heavy for his birthday every year. That's awesome. So do y'all brew together? Do you brew independently, or you the only brewer? My wife, she doesn't particularly care for beer, but she does try pretty much every one of them that I make just to see. And so I know she drinks it, and she's like, if it wasn't beer, it'd be awesome. She really dug a mixed culture firm that I did. I stole some yeast from a farmhouse ale producer here in Texas, and she was like, "Oh my god, this is great!" And then the thin mint stout she really liked. He has quality control. That's awesome. Gnome did the pickle beer. That was Gnome's beer. I think Gnome said that he'll try to hop on after he gets off of work if I'm still on. That's only because it's pickles. Pine Creek Brewing makes a killer pickle sour. So there's a brewery here in Texas called Martin House. They do pickle beer too, and it's okay. They've got a spiced one that's it's pretty freaking spicy, like I guess Bloody Mary type beer. Moving along pretty good. It's like our bowl off rate's little on the low side. I'm going to kick this up. That's a little too much. I'll be right back. I got to use the restroom because all this water I'm drinking. All right, back. So we're fixing to come into the time. Got about 4 more minutes left. And then I'm going to throw in the Wort chiller and set another timer for 5 minutes for our Whirlfloc tablet and our, let's see here. Yeah, Whirlfloc tablet and the second dose of cluster. But somebody forgot to grab the Whirlfloc tablet. All right. So I got the Whirlfloc tablet. All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody still here? Sorry, I had to run off for a minute, but you know how that goes. Can't stop the brew day. Tracking along pretty good. Looks like on the bowl now. So just homebrew and Jennifer, if y'all are still here, I'm gonna pick on you guys for a moment. Just because I'm kind of unfamiliar with you guys. Um, how long have you guys been following me, if you don't mind me asking? You don't have to answer if you don't want to. See about 14, 15 people in here right now. So that's pretty cool. Thank you for joining me. If you are new to the channel, I'm Matt. I'm everything here at Jaggers Brewing Co., just a YouTube channel. Just a dude with a camera following his homebrew shenanigans, right? Oh, Maro still hanging out. My buddy. Started following a few weeks ago. Cool. So in your honest opinion, how are you liking things? Is there a favorite thing that I've been doing that you like to see more of? Are you familiar with my other channel ferMentors or the podcasts I've been doing? Granted, both of those have just kind of started up here recently. That's cool. Yeah, I'd like to hang out on Happy Hour. Kind of try to stay low key, more or less, back there and hang out in the chat. You suggest cutting the sleeves off my shirt? um. So I'd rather not, I guess. um. I'm kind of a little bit overweight and a little scrawny too. Sun's out, guns out. You're ridiculous. Alrighty, time for the chiller. Wait for that to come back up to boil. Start my timer again. More cowboy hats. um, yeah. So it's all the way over yonder. Yes, I am in Texas. I live on the Gulf Coast of Texas, kind of where the Gulf of Mexico cuts in on the state. No sleeves, a cowboy hat, and a can't see it because of the heart. I guess a bucket of beer. I'm gonna tell you, like right now, if it wasn't as hot outside, oh, a Buddha beer. Um, so, if it wasn't as hot as it is outside, I would probably have another beer or two, but because it's just so dang hot, I'm trying to stay on top of my hydration. So that way, one, I don't get wasted, and then all that other stuff. Starting to cool down in Pennsylvania. It's been hot this past summer. I can. All right, we're boiling again. Time to set that timer. 5 more minutes. We get our Whirlfloc and our other hop edition, which I should go ahead and get ready. Five, 4 of cluster. Get her done. Right, hop charge done. Whirlfloc. Don't forget, you need a good pair of cowboy boot flip flops. Those two shall never meet. With spurs, the spurs are only for you, sweetheart. 3 more minutes. So who all temperature controls their fermentations? I've gotten to the point where I've only pretty much do that year round now with that cool fermentation setup that I've got. Occasionally now I do the like room temp ferment, the raw ales being one, and then like the saisons and stuff, just to really push those esters. Cut off jeans shorts. All right, we need to draw a line. No, we don't. We're just gonna leave Jaggers the way he is. How do you control your temperature fermentation, Chris? Do you have a glycol chiller? One thing that's kind of been on my radar. I know that it's hella expensive. Have to South Florida. Yep, I can see that. I know your pain. I call for the spike. I have hacked. So there was a setup for people were taking like those like window units and making a chiller out of those. I don't know. I can't. Just think of all the thumbnails. Okay, yeah. How bad do you want those 500 subs? Uh, Not that bad. Uh, I I think I've had some pretty good thumbnails here recently. I've got a few coming up that you guys don't know about yet that I think are pretty funny. But yeah, the we kind of have fun with some of the thumbnails here lately. The Brew Kai remix. I will. Upright freezers. Yeah, we went looking for a fridge here recently. Our new one died. We had it like 4 years or something like that. We were at this discount warehouse deal with fridges and stuff, and I'm serious. They had a freezer that was big enough to fit probably 10 kegs in, and we almost got it. I I was like, but where the hell are we gonna put it? Whirlfloc going in. And then our second hop charge, a cluster. Man, we're moving through this brew day. See here, yeast nutrients will be in another 5 minutes. Who else uses yeast nutrient? Future Matt and Christy. Yeah. So 2 people want nitro tap here at the house. One of them is more excited about it than the other one. I haven't figured out how to be able to do it. I know you can buy the stuff, right? Just um right now the keys are set up for 4 kegs. I typically only have 3 in there, 3 beers. Um One's supposed to be reserved for Cokes. We really haven't done very well with that. Um so uh I don't know. He's acting like we haven't already gotten rid of the legit to accommodate a geezer. So I need to figure out a way apparently to swing a brew shed to house a 10 keg system. Anybody build their own keezer setup? Um I keep thinking that I'm going to redo ours here and move all the taps to one side to make kegs to get in and out easier. Possibly put the collar on the upside of the keezer so that way whenever you raise it, the taps and hoses and stuff kind of get out of the way. Need some more water. It's hot. And then, like an idiot, I'm sitting next to a burner. Yeah. Built my keezer. Dio type is my friend. Yeah. When I go renovate this one, I'm gonna change up some stuff. 4 tap keezer. They my keezer lines. Yeah, uh that's a battle in itself, isn't it? I went through with these like Velcro type zip ties to kind of like bundle up the lines and stuff, and it's helped keep them at least situated somewhat. But I think it's about time for me to go ahead and replace my lines. When I do that, I'm thinking it might be a good time to go ahead and just rebuild the collar and all that other stuff. I'd probably switch over to the duo type, like he said. But I'm an odd duck, so like my kegs, they're all pin locks too. So I got that working against me a little bit. I've contemplating going ahead and changing them over to ball lock, but I don't know if there's really any good advantage other than the fact of if I decide to ever ferment in the keg or whatever, you know, having the pin lock is a little bit different for like that spunning valve and stuff, which, all that stuff is eventually you're able to adapt one way or the other, come up with your own deal. But kicked up the bowl just a little bit more. Ready. So yeast nutrient. right, before we know it, it'll be time to start chilling. My favorite part of brew day. Huh? Hmm. Need to mount CO2 tank on the outside of the keezer. Yeah, so my keg or my CO2 canisters on the inside of the keg or keezer with 4 kegs. Uh, I I could probably pull it out and save some room, but I'm not going to be able to fit another keg in there. So just kind of like, what's the point there? I did think though, like getting some of those mini kegs and then adding a fifth tap, like I guess maybe trying to double stack those mini kegs in there for like maybe like a kombucha or soda or something like that, doing it that way. Well, you have a good day there, Jennifer. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you swing back by the next time. Appreciate it. Cheers. 3 more minutes. Alrighty. Well, thanks for stopping by, Just Homebrew. I really appreciate it. Uh, Catch you next time. Today is going to be the day that she'll throw it all back at you.
He's singing Wonderwall.
Oh. Uh, so can a SCOBY die or go bad? It can go bad a couple different ways. Um, it can get infected, which is kind of funny when you think about it. You can get some aceto there. Ask me how I know. Um, so if you like vinegary kombucha, I guess it's not bad at that point, right? Brew show. Good to see you, man. Uh, so it's been the weekend for me for the last week and a half. I've been on vacation. uh, so yeah, I'm kind of ending the weekend, right? I mean, I still got 2 more days, but yeah. Uh, so back to the kombucha deal though. Um, yeah, I've gotten quite a few scobies infected by aceto and things like that. Maybe even some Brett. There's a lot of wild yeast that float around the house nowadays because of the brewing and stuff, especially when I used to do it in the kitchen. I am doing it right. I'm trying to be like you, Trent. Just rock life. But yeah, so if you keep an eye on your SCOBY, you shouldn't have any problems. But if you neglect it, let the airlock dry. If you use those little mini ones, I found that you have the mini airlocks. So like those gallon jars with the minis fit just right under my counters on the uh, cabinets, but they run out of water really quickly. So I think that's been the point of ingress a lot there for me. Like it's gone bad that way. Alrighty, time to chill it out. All right, so we're done with that. Time to chill out. Don't blame me. So, well, y'all can't really blame her. She said she. You're right. Medicated. Y'all are talking about a song, I guess. I don't know.
You know it.
I don't know that I know it, anyways. Poor guy. Apparently, I have homework to watch to listen to a song. I don't know it, Chris. Can you sing it for us? Yeah, right. When you sing it, I must be able to hear it from here, okay? Oh, okay. I guess, unfortunately, I do know that song. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I asked.
You deserve this.
What?
You deserve this.
I'm being told I deserve this. I don't think I did. Just so y'all know, I'm not chilling us all the way down to pitching temperature because I don't think it's possible out here today. I'm gonna let my fermenter do that with the cooling setup that I have set up. I like known, but I play with two. I don't play. Retriever trying to play it. Yes. So we've I am. Whose bright idea was it to brew when it's this hot? Do I? Yeah.
With the ingredients.
Car project. Well, coming down pretty decently. I have a feeling we're fixing to stall though at about 100. Wreckers. Yeah. Sorry for the least a bit amount of entertainment for me right now, but one of those things. I think we're gonna stall out way before 100. Just like about 120. Alrighty, so looks like 120 is going to be where we stall out at. I'm going to get this inside in just a moment and get it in my fermenter and let the cooling coil there do its work. But I've got time for one more beer before I do that. So let me go do that. Anybody got any questions or anything they want to ask me or talk about or anything like that? Put it in the chat. I'll come back with a full beer and we'll talk about it or something else. All right. Insert meatloaf. Yeah, I think it's probably right about 90 or so. It's pretty hot when you turn on just cold water. Right about now. I don't know. I'm sorry, Mario. I can't quite read your comment because of the stupid heart that's in the way. Let's try to bump it. Well, ain't, but there's an old bud. Vid. Man, autocorrect's killing you, isn't it? So, yep, I'm gonna call the brew day right now. Like I said, here in a moment, I'll just get my kettle inside and get that beer in the fermenter and let it start getting chilled down. Wrong with the little bump and grind. Oh, Chris. So, anybody got any plans to brew this weekend? I know Mario said he did. He was gonna do something. I'm not even defending my autocorrect anymore. It is what it is. Well, anybody got anything I want to chat about? Huh? I talked about that. Those that are watching that came in late went and seen Metallica in Fort Worth Friday and Sunday, so that was pretty cool. Favorite hops. So my favorite hops, I would say honestly, are Cluster and Saaz. Um, I like Magnum for the higher, cleaner IBUs, but I think everybody likes that. Nothing else matters. Can I tell it?
Okay.
Okay. So Nothing Else Matters is kind of a special song, at least to me. uh, we uh, we were trying to put together the music list for the wedding, and she said, "You don't. Metallica doesn't have a wedding worthy song." I said, "Yes, they do." She said, "Well, if you can find one, we'll play it during the wedding." So I said, "Okay." So I came back with "Nothing Else Matters." So we played that and danced to that at the wedding, and we danced at that song at the concert too. Our one dance
Okay.
at the wedding. We danced it too. I think. Pretty sure it was two.
I'm pretty sure Static X did one.
Yeah, Static X didn't play at the wedding, so we didn't dance to that. But we danced at Nothing Else Matters during the concert. I don't think people appreciated it around us, but you know, whatever. So, what's everybody's favorite hops? Triumph. I don't. Pretty sure I haven't used it. If I had, it probably came in um, the like a kit. Insolent Comic Con. Chinook and Fuggles. You just like Fuggles because it's funny to say. What's the notes for Triumph? Get right fruit, bubble gum, when hopped heavily. Like how heavily is heavily? Like 20 IBUs, 30 IBUs? I mean, I'm sure it's going to depend on the style, right? Or whatever you're shooting for. But I'd imagine something like that, you're going to want something light, right? Dry hopping. Yeah. Okay. I've only done a little bit of dry hopping. I gotta say, I've always been hesitant. Uh, IPAs and heavily hopped beers, but I feel like dry hopping's where it's at. You know, you have a lot of expression that you can impart on a beer there. 3 to 4 ounces in a 5 gallon batch. That's heavily hopped. um, that rye IPA that I used or that I did, I think it was like what an ounce of Mosaic and I think an ounce of Simcoe or something like that. I believe. for dry hop edition, and that was pretty good. I really enjoyed that. I'm gonna have to experiment with dry hopping a little bit more. I think there's a lot of room to play around with things. Brew Show, you still in here? I only saw you for a little bit, and sorry, it got kind of busy. What's your favorite hop there, Brew Show? If you're still here. What do you like about Chinook and Fuggles, Morrow? Huh?
The pronunciation.
The pronunciation. Brewing Bag, you still in here? What's your favorite hop or hop combo? Well, it looks like we're starting to lose some people. I know it's kind of been a little slow here towards the end, but I appreciate everybody that's been hanging out. I'm going to go ahead and end it so that way I can get this thing inside, get it chilling, get it some yeast pitched on it here pretty quickly. I really appreciate every single one of you guys for stopping in and spending a little bit of time with me on this brew day, checking me out and all that. It's good to see some new people coming out and hanging out here. But I really appreciate every single one of you guys. Cheers. Catch you next time. Next video we'll be releasing this next Thursday. So see you guys then. I'll probably see some of you guys there in Hoppy Hour too. Cheers.